Once upon a time in a beautiful country, Tortoise and Pigeon were great friends. One day Tortoise came to Pigeon and said, "Pigeon, I have fallen in love with a charming maiden named Nyanribo. She lives a good distance from here, but I am going to visit her tomorrow, and I would like you to accompany me." "With pleasure," agreed Pigeon, and early next morning they set out. As they journeyed, Tortoise spent the time describing the charms of his lady love, her beauty, her elegance, her wit, and her generosity, until Pigeon began to think she must be the most perfect lady in the world. "Of course she is," said Tortoise. "That is why I love her. You will see how pleased she is to see me today. But it is a pity she lives in such a remote place." "It is indeed," replied his friend, who began to feel very tired of walking. Soon afterwards they came to a country that was very rough and stony. "Alas," said Tortoise, "it will take me at least 2 days to walk across this stony ground. Will you not fly with me on your back until we reach a better country for walking?" Pigeon kindly agreed to carry his friend, and flew with him for a considerable distance, until they saw smooth fields beneath them. "Now you can walk again," said Pigeon, flying down to the ground. They had not gone far when they came to a wide river. "Now," cried Tortoise, "how in the world are we to cross this river, unless you carry me again?" Without waiting for the Pigeon's reply, he climbed onto his back. "I am very tired," murmured Pigeon, but Tortoise pretended not to hear and climbed onto his back. Pigeon flew across the wide river and came down to earth on the other side. But Tortoise refused to dismount. "You carry me so awkwardly," he said, "that I have terrible cramps and could not possibly walk. You will have to fly the rest of the way." So poor Pigeon carried him all the way to Nyanribo's house. Now the house consisted of 2 rooms, and Tortoise left Pigeon in the outer room while he entered the inner room to see his lady love. He found Nyanribo waiting with a splendid banquet spread ready. She had prepared so many good things to eat and drink that there was enough for a large family. "Where is your friend Pigeon?" asked Nyanribo. "Oh," said Tortoise, "my friend is a funny bird. He is so shy that if you speak to him he will die of fright, and he wishes to remain in the outer room until it is time to depart. Now let us enjoy the dinner you have prepared." They began to eat, while poor Pigeon waited hungry and thirsty in the other room. When he had nearly finished all that was on the table, Tortoise said, "I can see you are a good cook, and I love you very much. Will you be my wife?" "Yes," said Nyanribo. "If I did not mean to be your wife, I should not have taken so much trouble preparing a feast for you. But I am worried about your friend Pigeon. What will he have to eat?" "That my bird friend is very strange, I told you," replied Tortoise. "He never eats when he is away from home, and the only thing he will not refuse is a bowl of water." Nyanribo at once filled a bowl with fresh water, and Tortoise carried it to his friend in the other room. "My poor friend," he said, looking very mournful. "Nyanribo mistook the day of our visit, and as she did not expect us until tomorrow, she has nothing in the house to eat, but she sends you this bowl of water. She has been making apologies to me all this while." Tortoise then quickly returned to the inner room to finish what remained of the feast. Pigeon waited for some time, and then grew so impatient that he could not help peeping into the other room. There he saw Tortoise and Nyanribo talking and looking well fed and comfortable, while on the ground were a great number of empty dishes. Seeing this, Pigeon understood the trick that Tortoise had played on him and went back to the outer room to plan his revenge. At last, Tortoise came to him and said that it was time to depart. They traveled slowly homeward until they reached the wide river. "You will carry me, dear Pigeon, will you not?" said Tortoise, who had eaten so much that he could hardly walk at all. "Certainly, dear Tortoise," replied Pigeon, "but I do not wish you to have cramp again, so I will hold one of your feet in my beak instead of carrying you on my back." When they were halfway across the river, Pigeon dropped Tortoise into the water and flew away. When he had flown for some time, he saw in the field below him a dead horse, and quickly thought of another trick to play Tortoise if he managed to escape from the river. He went to a man who lived nearby and asked him to cut off the horse's head, which he then arranged on the ground, and, flying up into a tree, he prepared to watch what might happen. Now when Pigeon let Tortoise drop from his beak, he did not fall into the river, where he would certainly have been drowned, but onto the back of a hippopotamus which was just swimming to the bank. As the big animal reached the bank, Tortoise climbed off its back and hurried away as fast as he could. Later on, he came to a field where there was a horse's head standing on the ground. Tortoise was so astonished at seeing this marvel that he did not go home, but went instead to the king of the country and told him that he knew of a place where horses' heads grew out of the ground just like plants. The king was delighted and said that if the story was true, he would give Tortoise a basket full of gold, which would make him rich for life. Tortoise agreed to take the king and all his court to the place where horses' heads grew like plants, and they all set off, accompanied by drummers, warriors, and a great crowd of people who desired to see this astonishing thing. But, alas, when they reached the field there was nothing to be seen, for Pigeon had removed the head. The king was very angry and ordered Tortoise to be burned to death for deceiving him. Poor Tortoise pleaded in vain for pardon. The warriors made a great bonfire in the field and flung Tortoise into the flames. Just at that moment, the sky became dark with the wings of birds. Pigeon had watched everything from his perch on the tree, but when he saw that Tortoise would be killed, he was sorry, and quickly summoned all the tribe of pigeons and doves to rescue his ungrateful friend. With their wings, they beat out the flames, and Tortoise was saved. Then Pigeon related the whole story to the king and explained how he had played a trick on Tortoise with the horse's head. At this, the king forgave Tortoise and allowed the two friends to continue their journey together. But Tortoise was overcome with shame at the thought of Pigeon's goodness after he had been so meanly treated. "Let us return at once to Nyanribo's house," he said, "and I will order her to make an even more excellent feast, and you shall eat it all yourself." "I will gladly come back with you," replied Pigeon, "but it would be no pleasure to me to eat the feast alone. True friends find the best enjoyment in sharing their good fortune." "You are right," replied Tortoise, "and I am sure that when you go wooing, you will not treat your friends as badly as I have treated you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.